Okay, so we should be live. And we are live for Top Weddings.
Hi, guys.
Today we are live with Broc Barton with Elevate. And we're going to wait just a few minutes for people to log in. Okay, so I'm going to get myself off of there. Otherwise, it's going to feedback. So Broc, if you want to, if you need to share, you can. So we are on Facebook live, and then we're also in our 417 Engaged Couples group. So for any of you that are engaged and want to join that group, you can absolutely do that, and we would love to have you. And then we will share this on Instagram as well tomorrow, or probably by Friday. We will get it shared on Instagram as well, and Instagram TV. And then, yeah, so we've got a great set of topics to talk to Broc about. And since we logged on a couple minutes, we had to get something adjusted real quick. So we're going to wait just probably just one more minute, and then we will get started, Broc. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So the things that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about stay strong and plan on. We're going to talk about 5 tips to have an amazing reception, which Broc knows a little bit about, and then creating the perfect reception timeline. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I am so excited about having you on with us today because, you've had a busy week, and because of the Stay Strong and Plan On. So let's just first introduce yourself and tell us who you are and a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Broc. Obviously, I own Elevate Entertainment, as well as stuff near Springfield. I also co-own Officially Wed, which is officiate service as well. And I've been in the wedding industry 14 years, DJing 16 total years now, and DJ all over the place. I'm very fortunate that I've been able to see events and be a part of people's special day all over the country. And even internationally, and so it's been super fun. Elevate Entertainment now, just absolutely incredible experience getting to grow Elevate Entertainment into what it's become, now being named Missouri's #1 DJ company. Pretty honored at that experience. So yeah, it's incredible. I love it.
You have had a busy few years, that is for sure. And then let's talk about Stay Strong and Plan On.
Yeah. So Stay Strong, Plan On. I have to tell you, this whole coronavirus COVID situation, obviously putting a big damper on a lot of things. I have, as many of our clients recently, we've probably had about 55 or 60 clients that we've had to move their date. And I can't imagine that. It's so painful having, planned this wedding for a year or 2 years and tons of energy and money going into it. And then we get almost there and they have to turn around and bump it out. And I feel my heart breaks for those couples, like it's really tough. But we have successfully done that. We've been able to move most of them just down into the fall or late summer into the fall. And so it wasn't too much of a delay, and that's good news. And we're hoping that, obviously at the time of this recording, we don't know how that's all going to play out, but we're hopeful that that's going to wind down here soon. Because of that, though, I also noticed this is something that's kind of a trend in capitalism. Whenever things get scary, people stop spending money. They stop shopping. They stop doing things. They kind of just freeze. It's that fight, flight, or freeze effect, and a lot of people just freeze. And I think, given the sort of the negativity that we hear on the news and all that stuff, I really wanted to do 2 things. I really wanted to establish that, hey, wedding vendors are still here to take care of you, and we are in it. We're going to make sure your event is awesome and planned well and you are taken care of. So this sense of like, we're still here, let's keep planning. And this sense of like we're also going to make sure that's awesome. Positivity, right? Like we want to take care of you and we want to make sure that you don't have to worry or stress or fret or, live in fear in this situation. And so stay strong, plan on is an encouragement to our brides, like continue to have hope, continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to have these events. They're going to be awesome. And we're going to make sure, in fact, I would say they're going to be better than ever because we're all going to be ready for events. So that's the point of the Stay Strong Plan On campaign, is to make sure that hey, love isn't canceled and your wedding shouldn't be either. So let's keep planning.
Yes. And, I love how you've taken it and it's been across the board. And so many wedding professionals have jumped, in the 417 area have jumped on. And I know that, so tell us a little bit about the video that you created.
Yeah. So the video, again, we wanted to show this and show that we all really meant it. And so it's probably 30-ish, maybe a little bit more wedding vendors here in our local area, 417 area, who reached out to us and wanted to participate in a video that was basically an encouragement to all of our brides and grooms. And so it's on my webpage, it's on Elevate, it's on Top Weddings, all of them. And so go check it out. But it's basically from all of our local wedding vendors to our brides saying, hey, life's crazy. It's crazy for all of us. We're having to do different things now than we've ever had to do, but we are still here for you guys. And I would say it's really powerful because seriously, to have 30 plus wedding vendors just simply want to create a video to say, we're here for you. That's meaningful, right? Like that's got heart in it. And it was incredible to me to see the people who jumped on board and really wanted to be a part of this movement to encourage our brides.
Yeah. And I think, I love the message. We had a live last week with Rochelle and, same, hey, we're here. And, and I love how you've taken that and just, again, just taken it across all platforms for 417 wedding professionals, but the heart, of all wedding professionals in this area, we all are different and we all do things differently, but man, we all love weddings, love the clients. And I feel like that video that you created was, it really showed it well. And so, yeah, and perfect timing. Obviously we didn't know all of this was happening when we scheduled you to come live. So it's really has been perfect timing that we got to jump on for the Stay Strong and Plan On. And so we also will put the link for the video in the comments. So it'll be there as well. And then like Broc said, it's on Elevate, and you're really going to see a great, amazing plethora of wedding professionals that are all joining together for the same message, because we love our brides, we love our couples, and so we're excited. And like I said, this is perfect timing. So anything else as far as, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if there are brides listening right now, I want to go ahead and just tell you, like, we're here for you. We're working very hard to get creative around ways that we can keep planning. And here's kind of the truth. A lot of the events, as I mentioned, that we've had to reschedule have moved into late summer, early fall. And so that's going to make that time frame really crazy. I mean, that means we've got to fill all of those events in a shorter amount of time. And now is absolutely a fantastic time to be planning your event. Especially if you're in the later part of 2020 or even to 2021, now is a great time to be having video conversations. If you are looking at catering, for example, I know several caterers they're like packaging up your tasting food, allowing you to take it home. They'll give it to you curbside. You take it home and do tastings that way. Videographers making sure they have all their video content available so you can be seeing, having conversations with them. Same with photographers. Venues are doing virtual tours for you guys. I want to say it again. Now is absolutely a great time to be planning. There's more space for that. And what will happen is on the backside of this, what we don't want to happen is that we have all these events now we've got to fulfill, and we have all these brides who froze and didn't make plans. And now I want to have conversations because that's going to essentially, it's going to stretch us really thin. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that we're able to give you the time and energy you deserve. And so absolutely start having those conversations, even if you're not making bookings. Like, start getting them lined up. Get to know the people that you want. Write out your list of people and like get things in order so that your event will absolutely fall in line in a very short amount of time. It'll be really easy for you then, and that's what we want for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we just made a post about this, but there's three things. Can you shut the door, please? Shut the door. There's three things that people look at when they're choosing wedding professionals, and one of them is, there is a lot of footwork that goes into place when you're looking for, because you're usually booking based on work, personality, and then oh my goodness, I just lost the third one. I just had it. Dang it. Work, personality, and then reviews and stuff like that. So this is a great time to really dive in to finding those wedding professionals. And just like Broc said, you don't need, yes, as many contracts as you want to put, that's amazing. But know that footwork, just jumping out there, is a big part of what's so time consuming. And now, honestly, you can do that from anywhere. Like, you can do that from your home, you're not having to go in and make appointments and drive there. And honestly, some of this is kind of nice for couples, because wedding professionals are learning new ways. And we said this last week, but they are learning new ways to make this all work and to make every couple feel special. Because honestly, part of wedding planning is making sure that you're enjoying the process. And I know there's a lot of wedding professionals that are very excited about we miss that. We miss the interaction. We miss the content, just like with everything else, because most of us are pretty extroverted and we like to be around people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm that way for sure. I'm missing DJing events like crazy right now.
Yeah. I think
I'm probably going to just DJ to my dog tonight. I mean, that's how far along I am here.
You should have put that in the video, because that would have been pretty good, Broc. Just saying. And yeah, I think we're all feeling that for sure. So, and I'll just put a plug in for Top Weddings. The great thing about the way that we set that up is every single wedding professional has an interview. That is incredibly helpful when you're trying to pick your wedding professionals, and Broc's got a great interview on there as well. So, okay. So like I said, so blessed that we got to jump for Stay Strong and Plan On, because I love the whole thing. That I've been excited from the moment that you brought it up. So we are excited to be a part of it. Okay, so anything else that you want to say for couples that are planning?
Not at this point. We've got some great tips ahead, though, in the conversation, so stick around.
Yes, we do. So, one of the things we really try to do with all of our wedding professionals when we bring them in for a live is really talk about what they're passionate about, what they want to show and tell and guide couples with. So Broc has some amazing topics that we're going to be talking about. So let's go ahead and get started with the next one, which is 5 tips to have an amazing reception. So we are overly excited because you know a little bit about this for sure. So let's go ahead.
Yeah. So when I was sitting down and really thinking about like, hey, if it was a good friend of mine and I were going to tell them 5 things to think about as they're beginning to plan their wedding, these are the things that I would want to communicate. And most of them you'll find are pretty high level thoughts, but I think that's really important that you kind of have clarity of vision and go down the path that fits you best. I really care that every event fits the bride and groom that we work with. So the first tip that I had come up with start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. And the thing about start with the end in mind is that you really want to make sure that you think about like how that event is going to go and how people are going to feel about the event after, and how you want to feel about the event after. Something I frequently ask my clients is, hey, after this is over, what do you want your guests saying about your event? Do you want them saying, yeah, you want them to say it was fun, right? Okay, good. There's nobody who wants their wedding to be boring, as far as I know. But let's push past that. Like, what does that fun feel like? Is it really high energy? Is it more laid back? Is it really formal and kind of a black tie affair? Or is it more casual, got your cowboy boots on, cowboy hat? And what does that look like for you? And dream a little, like make an experience out of it. You don't want to spend, $5, $10, $20, $5, $10, $20, $30,000+ on a wedding and it not be an incredible experience. Like, make it powerful. So start with the end in mind and then focus all of your attention on that end goal. So for example, the end goal is for it to be super high energy, really unique experience, nothing like they've been to before. Then you're probably going to want to think about investing in entertainment and unique entertainment, right? Like maybe it's kind of getting creative about the entertainment process there so that it's something that they've never seen. And you're probably going to want to get, pretty high energy DJ or band or form of entertainment for that event. So start with the end in mind. I want to say this, it can be really easy to get caught up in the little details of planning. And by the way, it's easy to spend $100,000 on a wedding, right? Like there are a million services out there. Obviously, I don't recommend this for everybody. So instead, focus your attention on the experience that you want it to be like. And don't get caught up in the little pieces along the way. Really focus on the big picture. I think it'll make you go a lot further in your planning experience. You'll get a lot more out of it that way. So that's start with the end in mind. Past that, actually, Deb, did you have any reflections?
So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the experience that you want for your guest is one of the most important parts. So I love that you talked about experience. So yeah, no, let's go ahead.
Awesome. This follows pretty quickly behind that. This makes a lot of sense. Put your money in your priorities. Like after you've really thought about the end goal, then you want to begin to assess what are my priorities here. Some people, maybe your priorities are have really awesome pictures and video. Okay, then you want to put money into really talented photographer and videographer for your event, right? Like absolutely make those investments. Some people really want the experience and the memory of it being super fun and super energetic. You want to put your money in your entertainment at that point. Some people really care about the food. Some people don't want it to be a really high energy experience or anything like that. And in that case, maybe you don't invest so much in entertainment. Maybe it's a smaller portion of your budget and you focus more of your attention on the parts that do make sense. If you want it really pretty, you're going to invest in decor and floral and that type of deal. Or and then I like to say this, you see it here on the screen, think about your priorities before, during, and after. Now, while I told you to start with the end, think about the whole way through, right? So if before the event, for example, if before the event, let's say, okay, for me, I'm a very big picture thinker. That's how I work. Planning fine details is really hard. I get really overwhelmed with really get into fine details of things. For me, in that scenario, a planner makes a lot of sense. That would be a priority for me because they can do that thinking for me, and it's something that they're talented at. During the event, who's running the show? Who's making sure everything happens and making sure you don't have to worry about anything? You better know that. That should be a priority for you. And then after the event, like I said, this is where you the end in mind. How are people going to remember it? How do you want people to feel after the event and talk about the event afterwards? You want to have that definition. Those will create your priorities, and absolutely you want to arrange your finances and budgets to match those priorities. I want to say one thing about that. There are certain tools out there that you can go in, you can like plug in. You say, okay, my budget for this event is $20,000, and it will break down how much you need to spend on every vendor. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not a fan of that. I get the concept, and I think it is loosely helpful for brides, but that predetermines your priorities for you, is what that's doing. And so be really wise to that. They've just plugged in basic percentages based on rough averages, in the past year or something like that. And I don't think that's wise for making your event uniquely you. You can use that maybe as a kind of an idea creator, but make sure you break down your budgets based on your priorities and make those adjustments appropriately.
Absolutely. And I completely 100% agree with you with those planners, because that also is not just for this area, for the Midwest either. And when you're looking overall, the most important thing is you figure out what's the most important for you when you're planning. I mean, that has and no wedding is ever the same. That's one of the things that I don't know about you, Brock, but I love about our jobs and about weddings is that you walk into a wedding and it can have some similarities, but you can tell where the priorities have been, whether it's the party, whether it's just like you said, whether it's the decor, whether it's the photographer. And, I mean, hopefully you're doing a little bit of all of that, but at the end of the day, your priorities, I love the way you said that, because when you sit down and really figure out what is important to you, it's going to be the wedding of your dreams because you've already figured out what your priorities are. And, just like I said, it's hard to always get advice from other people because they might not be planning what's the most important for you. And I feel like, just like you said, when you make that budget and then you just really sit down and say, okay, this is number one on my priority list. I want to have a really good party. I'm not, and when you really see, we've been to enough weddings that you really can tell where they've invested, what's most important to them. And I think that's really, really good tip and really good to know.
Yeah. By the way, I think this tip is important for all budgets. I want to be clear about that, right? Like, I'm not trying to tell anybody here what budget they should spend. I don't believe in that. I think that people, everybody has their means to work within. Work within your means. I don't encourage my clients to go into debt for their event, but still arrange your budget based on priorities. I think that's really still very important in this scenario. And there's some,
some times that, oh my gosh, the dress is everything. And then, like I said, for some, it's the reception and the party. So yeah, I love that tip. Yes, and yes.
Awesome. The next one, I think a lot about this one. This one's really important to me. Is don't skimp on your entertainment. Don't skimp on your entertainment. So here's the deal. This is obviously very near and dear to my heart. I'm an entertainment company, so I think a lot about this. But here's what I've discovered. There's a study by Modern Bride magazine that came out a few years ago. 81% of guests remember one thing about your event far more than any other thing, and that's the entertainment. Now, I'm not trying to downplay other people, other vendors. Like, they're all important. Don't mishear me. But the thing that is most remembered is entertainment. And I actually just love to do a little thought experiment with people when I'm talking to them. Think about events you've been to. What do you remember most? You remember if the entertainment was good, and actually you also really remember if the entertainment was bad.
Right.
And frankly, if we could say it this way, if you don't remember the entertainment, that's probably not good either, right? The entertainment absolutely makes or breaks your event. And I think if you devote less than 5% of your total wedding budget to something that makes up 81% of the memory, that's a risk. That's a big risk. I've seen brides spend $20,000-$25,000 and spend less than $1,000 on that on entertainment. And here they have this big, beautiful, elaborate wedding with great food, and nobody sticks around because the entertainment wasn't that good. That to me is terrible. Now, don't mishear me. If that's what the bride and groom wanted, awesome. Kudos to them. I encourage that, right? But for the most part, most brides and grooms want their guests to stick around and make an incredible memory. And so that is not a place where I recommend skimping on entertainment. That will make a huge impact. I mean, people know it more and more today. Entertainment is everything. Unfortunately, we live in a world where anybody can kind of say they're an entertainer. It's kind of like photographers. I really feel bad for photographers. Did you know this? Anybody can buy a $5,000 Canon camera and call themselves a photographer. You don't need a degree. You don't need a certificate. There's no training program. There's like, oh, I have a good eye. I'm gonna grab a camera and I'll be. The same is true for like DJs and other types of entertainment like that. For example, even bands. There's no degree for that.
Yeah. If
you have 2 speakers and Spotify, you can call yourself a DJ. So be really wise. Like there is it's pretty important that you make sure that you don't skimp on entertainment. You get somebody who's going to be a professional and who's going to make it a really impactful moment. That's the one thing your guests are going to remember. Most of your guests are going to remember more than anything else. And so make sure that you make that happen.
So I definitely will jump on that because I can tell you, been in the wedding industry for 10 years, and it is one of the biggest questions that I ask is, who is your DJ? Because at the end of the day, by the time a couple gets to the reception, they just want to enjoy it and they want to have fun. And that's when you actually get to interact and have fun with the guests. And if you do not have a DJ that has a wedding experience, and there is a big difference between a DJ that has even DJ experience compared to wedding experience, because at the end of the day, once you get to the reception, the DJ or the entertainment is really and truly what keeps that flow happening. Your guests need to know, I'm sure that you've been to a wedding that you're wondering what's going to happen next. When is that going to happen? Oh, how long are we waiting for that? And a lot of them will just leave. And so know that this right here is huge on my passion, because this is the point that not only for your guests, but this is where you get to have fun as well. And so, wedding experience is incredibly important. And then also, because they lead your entire reception and bring in your guests. There's nothing like being at a reception where nobody gets on the dance floor. Oh, brides want everybody to have fun, and you've got to have someone who's going to do that. Not everybody loves to jump up and do that. That's where your entertainment comes, your DJ comes in. And so yes.
Yeah. I love it. Deb, can we skip to the last one really quick? I like this one. Get an A team. Get an A team. A lot of people think about getting vendors as like, oh, I just need to get somebody to make my cake, and I just need to get somebody to make the food. Think about it in terms of like just putting people in places, more or less, and job roles really is what. But honestly, here's the deal. These people will work together to make sure the event of your dreams comes to life. Yes. That is their job. Like, and I really encourage you, when I say get an A team, I mean get people you really believe in. Like, please don't settle on this. Like, these are the people, okay, like photographer, for example. We have so many really good photographers in this area. But that's the person you might spend the most part of your day with. That single person more than any other person you'll spend your day, your big day with, right? And so your personalities, you want to make sure you jive, and you want to make sure that you get along. You want to make sure they're able to capture the vision of the images that you want. That's huge. Your caterer, like you want to make sure that your caterer is somebody who's thought of every part. It's not just putting food on a buffet. It's putting food on a buffet, the plates, the drinks, who's picking up the plate afterwards, who's making sure the trash is taken out. Like, it's a whole process. And so I really encourage people, like, find people you really connect with and believe in. That should be your A team. And don't think of them again as a job role. Think of them as the people who are going to bring your vision to life. And is it cohesive? Do you have everybody in place who will absolutely take care of you? I love, as a DJ, I love when I have that moment, I ask my clients, okay, hey, who are you working with? We have a list, check, 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 check. And, I know several of them. And it's like such a good feeling, because I know that event is going to be rocked. We are going to make it awesome. That bride and groom are going to be ecstatic at the end of the night, and so taken care of that they don't have to worry about anything on their day. I really don't want to see my brides and grooms settled in any way, shape, or form in this way. That doesn't mean go outside your budget. There are still people who will probably be within your budget, but make sure that you jive really well with them, and that your personalities get along with them, and that you believe that they're going to deliver the experience you want. I tell a lot of my brides this. There are people in this industry, you can tell their heart's in it. You talk to them, and they care about you. They want to make sure that day is incredible for you. There are people you talk to, and I don't get that feeling from, right? Like, it's a job, it's a job for the weekend. And I will tell you, every time, the person who really cares, and you get that sense that they are really invested in your event, is going to make sure your event is fantastic for you. And so, absolutely important, get an A team.
Yes, I love that, because it does. It makes a lot of wedding professionals have worked together in other weddings, and so you tend to and you build relationships. I mean, honestly, we build relationships. I mean, that's one of the best parts about this, and so yeah, I love that, because that, when you did that, when you've really created that team of wedding professionals, it takes a lot of stress off of you. It takes a lot of stress off of, the whole day, and it lets everyone be in the moment. I've said quite a few times, the better your team is, the more wedding professionals that you're, you're jumping with and just loving, they will take off stress. Like, they will let everyone around you, your parents, whoever else is around you, the wedding party or whoever, just be in the moment that day. And I think that's incredibly important. I think it has, that team is and that's what we're saying, to start planning now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go find that A team right now.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We can't stress that enough. All right.
This is the one that gets me in trouble a little bit, but I really believe in it. And because I believe in it, I do go ahead and push forward in it. Listen, not all services are created equal. Don't, and this is the most important part, don't start the conversation with price. This is especially true for DJs because I think when people are planning their wedding, first of all, they don't hire a lot of DJs. The idea is you get married once. This is the first time you've ever had to hire a DJ usually. And so a lot of people just think the DJ just presses play on music. That is not true. And so because of that, I think we especially get a lot of people who just start with, hey, what's your price? What's your price? And that's a terrible place to start. Here's why. Not all services are created equal. People have, what we do as a company is different than what a competitor down the street might do as a company. It's comparing apples and oranges. Listen, you can do price comparisons with the exact same product, right? If I want to buy a vacuum cleaner that's called Model 304, I can look at store 1, store 2, and store 3. And as long as it's Model 304, it's probably the same thing. So all that matters at that point is price. That is not true of wedding services. There are photographers who range in capability, who range in style. There's like different styles. Some of them do really kind of a wider, more blown out look. And some of them have more of a darker feel to what they have, more of a photojournalistic style. There's a range there. Same with DJs. DJs, some of them, they'll show up and they'll press play on music. That doesn't create an experience. That will not make your event a success. That's really important that I say that. Like, music in and of itself is not the key ingredient, right? Like, that's why people all over the place sometimes will do the iPod DJ thing, and they'll play some of the same songs. They'll play "Get Low" by Lil Jon, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well because it's not about the song; it's about the experience. And so I really recommend, when you're choosing services across the board, get to know them first. Go out, look at some reviews, feel out the reviews, maybe get some recommendations or friends who've gotten married, and maybe find out kind of what people are saying, and then go have conversations with them. At least get to know them. Don't mishear me. You can ask like a range, maybe find out, hey, photographer, can you give me a range? I know that we're not going to be able to spend 10 grand on a photographer, so it's probably not worth our time to spend 2 hours having a conversation with a 10 grand photographer. I think that's cool, but get to know them and make sure that they jive really well. And if they do, that's when you want to adjust your budget to fit that person, to really match and meld with your A-team and your goals for your overall experience. That will make your event much more fulfilling. People who go rigidly by price end up, unfortunately, many of them, not all of them, but many of them will end up with an experience that isn't all that rewarding. It tends to be more stress than it is solution and enjoyable. And so I don't see brides like that. That's not fair. It's your big day. So make sure, again, get to know the people that you're interested in and make sense of why they're priced the way they are before you ask for those numbers.
Yes, and I agree with that because, just like we said at the beginning, when you're looking at your budget and you're deciding how much for everything, it all goes back to you also, when you're looking for a wedding professional, what experience are you wanting with that, especially when it comes to your priority items? What experience are you wanting? And if you don't get to know someone, if you automatically take them out because, oh, they're too expensive, or, oh, you could be missing out on the whole experience that they bring to the table compared to someone else. And, I cannot tell you, as wedding professionals, guys, how many times we get asked. I feel like if you're looking for a car and you call, or you're getting your car fixed, you don't normally, say, oh, well, how much are you? Okay. And always go with the cheapest. You don't do that. You go with somebody you trust. You go with somebody that you believe in, but with wedding professionals, this is a big deal. It's the biggest day of your life. And, that has everything to do with just going back to choosing, not getting stuck in the price, but choosing the wedding professional based on what they're bringing to your table. And I feel, so yes, I absolutely love that, because as wedding professionals, we get it all the time. And a lot of us, just an FYI, a lot of wedding professionals, when somebody emails us or, hey, can you send me your pricing? A lot of wedding professionals will not send pricing, and I'm going to, dive in of why we don't. It's because that pricing is numbers on a page. It's not who we are and who we bring to you, who, again, it goes back to that right fit. There are times that you will meet someone and know immediately, oh, we have a good connection, I want to for sure hire them. And then there's sometimes that you think, no, love their work, but not a good fit. Don't stop that with price. Just, yeah.
Well, in business terms, there's two things we're looking for in every purchase. Every purchase we make, it doesn't matter if it's oranges or toilet paper or a vehicle, right? And we're looking for two things. We're looking for value and cost. And when those things go together for us, we make a purchase, right? And so, for example, there's cheap toilet paper out there. I'm guessing a lot of people are down with buying that cheap stuff, right? Like, one ply is a little scary. You want to make sure you wash your hands real well after that type of deal. Like, that's not, the value isn't there for people. The problem with just asking price is you didn't give the vendor the opportunity to share value. You didn't give them the opportunity to share, here's what's made us successful, and here's why we're priced that way. Get to know that. I really encourage you. Now, I'm not saying, right, like there are, there are quite a number of vendors. So I don't think it's going to be pretty time consuming to try to do that with everybody. So I encourage you to kind of go and look at reviews first, look at people who look like they fit you, maybe pick out 3, 4, photographer, 5 photographers, something like that, and start scheduling some calls and have conversations with them. Yeah, and find the person that fits you, and you get to understand their value as well as their cost. It's both.
Absolutely. I am just going to touch base with Shelby really quick, because I forgot to do that on the last segment, to make sure we didn't have any questions for this topic. So yeah, and I love that. I think you said that very well. I know that's sometimes a very hard topic, but I think you said that very well. So, and I think that is, incredibly helpful for all couples to know. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Listen, I will tell you this, for all the brides who are listening right now, 417, I've DJed in a lot of places. So 417 is incredible. It's unique. There are so many really talented wedding professionals, and more importantly, not only are they talented, but they also really care. And that is it's of profound value. Like, to know you have somebody on your big day in your corner that's going to make things happen, so that you don't have to think about it is powerful. Or to have somebody in your corner who's going to make sure that when the issues come up, and there will be issues, that you don't even feel them, right? Like, that you don't even know that they were issues, that they are taken care of because somebody else dealt with it for you. That makes it so that you can be totally focused on being with your family and friends, and being celebrated. You kind of lose yourself in that moment with your family and friends. And that's huge. 417 is unique in that way. I am very proud of the people, the vendors that we have in 417, because they are so, not only very talented, but they care so much to make sure that your event is flawless for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you we've met with not just the ones that are on Top Weddings, but we've met with a lot and worked with a lot of wedding professionals in the 417 area. And there are not very many wedding professionals that I've met that their heart is not for the couple and the wedding day, and that passion. When you get as excited about a wedding day as the bride or the couple is. And that's how a lot of us feel. I mean, honestly, it's, oh my goodness, this is, we know the thing about wedding professionals is we know what this commitment means. We know that this is one of the biggest days of your life. And it's an honor for, I feel like, all wedding professionals to get to be a part of that. And that is one thing I honestly say, and we'll say it, 417 area is, has amazing, amazing wedding professionals. And so, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else for the 5 tips to have an amazing reception? And I really feel like, a lot of that was not just based on a reception. And that's why, when Broc told me the 5 tips that he wanted to talk about, it really and truly is about the whole wedding. And I love that because your reception is a part of the wedding. And I could tell you everything else is amazing, but it is honestly the fun part. I mean, it's the part where you just get to, unwind and just enjoy. And, so thank you, Broc, but going into detail for so much more than just the reception too, because that all has to do with having a good reception is, all of those as you're planning. So yeah, I love it. Okay.
It's my pleasure.
So let's go ahead and get us back up here. So this next part, I know we feel we agree in a lot of this. So the next part is that we're going to talk about, let me get that banner up there, is creating the perfect reception timeline. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the reception, there are usually I kind of break it up into 3 major parts to make it kind of easier to think about. There is the cocktail hour, which, by the way, might not be an hour and it might not have cocktails, but we call it cocktail hour because it's kind of the time that people are arriving to the reception space, but waiting on the bride and groom to join. So kind of a bit of a downtime, or I've heard some people call it a mingle hour, or things like that. But basically, they're arriving. Maybe they have appetizers. Maybe they have, maybe you have the bar open and they're grabbing a cocktail. Maybe you have some games. I've seen people do games outside in the yard with the tosses and various things like that. Or maybe you have a photo booth experience open, ready for them. I've seen people do even caricature artists who are there to draw things. That's super, super cool. That's the cocktail hour. This is pretty cool because it's kind of a lower key moment for most events. I mean, you can get as crazy as you want with the cocktail hour, but I think it's great to kind of let people catch up during that hour. Most weddings, not all, but most weddings, the people are arriving maybe just minutes before the wedding starts. So there's not a lot of social time before the wedding starts. So this is the first opportunity that they're getting to actually really socialize. Hey, cousin Vinny, I haven't seen you in 2 years, like that kind of deal. And so I like to give them a little space to actually do that. Now, I have had couples who've asked me to also entertain during that time, and absolutely, we've got some fun activities that we can bust out during the cocktail hour and make it good. Usually, the bride and groom are out finishing photos during that time, so that's what's kind of going on, and then they come and they join us, and that kicks off the second part. The second part is usually there's a portion devoted to eating. Everybody wants some grub. We want to eat well in celebration. And then there's several formalities that go along with that. There's the grand entrance. There's toasts. There's a cake cutting. There are some fun activities that we can pepper in there to really make that whole process really enjoyable. But during that time, the whole point is to get most of those formalities out of the way and to let people enjoy dinner. Again, this is a bit more mid-tempo, right? Like people are really socializing at this point. They may have had a drink or two or three, and then we kind of also have the formalities. So this is a bit more of a mid-energy portion of the night, and some fun ways to really make it creative. Overall, usually most of the time, dinner is going to take you between 45 minutes and an hour and 15 minutes, maybe, depending on how big. You know, if you've got 350 people at your event, then yeah, you're probably gonna be an hour 15 minutes, like honestly. Smaller events obviously move a little quicker, and then you've got the formalities to pepper in there as well. So that whole portion usually kind of hangs out at somewhere around like the hour and a half, 2 hour, maybe 2.5 hour mark, depending on, again, how many guests you have at that event. One thing I like to say, I know Debbie and I agree about this particular thing. I've had some brides talk about potentially having like food and dinner in the cocktail hour, and kind of with a good heart. They're like, oh, I don't want my guests to wait. I don't want my guests to wait for us to eat dinner. I don't want them sitting around hungry or hangry, even worse. We want to make sure they're taken care of. And that is you're so kind to think that way. I really applaud it. But at a wedding, a lot of people, and when you can add structure to it, it helps them to know that there's a plan and to execute that plan well together. If you don't do that, then people, the worst thing that can happen is they just get up and they start going, right? And then there's no structure, there's no form. They're certainly not going to follow your DJ now because, like, clearly there's no plan. That's usually not good. This is kind of rude to say it this way, but like it helps to think about it. I say a lot of times, weddings are a lot like like first grade classes, right? Like they need structure. They need, nap time and dinner time and play time. They need structure. It helps them to move through the event collectively together and to know that there is an experience that is planned for them. Right. I think it's actually a really good thing to add that planning, that structure in there. And so I do recommend waiting for the bride and groom to get there. It makes it more formal. It makes it more smooth. It makes it more thoughtful for your guests. And I guarantee you, if you do it right, what you've done is you've started with you've kind of started with a cocktail hour, which is kind of lower energy. Then you've gone into dinner, which is higher energy. And then guess what we go into? The celebration, right? The game, the dancing, the entertainment, all of that, and the energy just keeps climbing throughout the night. By the time we get to the end of the night, it's through the roof energy. It's a blast. It is so much fun. And it's something that people walk away just mind blown. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience.
Right. Yes. And I know we touched on, the dinner thing. One of the parts of that is you normally, a couple hasn't ate all day long. And so when you're getting to the reception, most guests know that they're going to be with you for the evening. But, it's one of those things that once they've ate, if something's not happening right after, they're kind of like, oh, okay, I'm full. I could go ahead and go home. So yeah. So and it's okay. It's your day and it's your wedding. So don't feel like, oh, I need to do that for my guests. While that is incredibly sweet and nice, they're there for you. I mean,
yeah.
And that dinner, just like Broc said, it gives you that structure. The way that wedding receptions are laid out, it's because it works. I mean, it's because it just flows. And, and that's where I just keep on going back to, that's why you have to have a good wedding DJ, because that's where that flow comes in, that makes that experience of your reception key. And yes, and there's a lot to do during a reception. I mean, you've got the dances, cake cutting.
Yeah, cake cutting, toasts, First, you have spotlight, mother, son, father, daughter. You've got bouquet toss, garter toss. Do you want to do the anniversary dance? Like, is there a welcome speech, grand entrance? Like, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to a formal reception, to be honest with you. And I don't want to over categorize that, because, like I said, I'm really passionate about making sure it's exactly what my clients want. It's not my day, it's yours. But I'm thoroughly in agreement that structure is a solid thing. Actually, something that you said earlier, Deb, I just want to say it again. Clients have, unfortunately, how do I say this? There are many people out there who have been to weddings that aren't very memorable, receptions that weren't very exciting to go to. Can I put it that way, humbly? And they've seen what a not so impressive wedding reception can look like. Well, that kind of does bad things, because then it sets the bar kind of low. So what happens is, especially if you let people just go eat dinner during a cocktail hour and there's no plan, there's no structure, then what people do, yeah, you're right, they eat their food and they're like, okay, well, I don't really have high hopes for this. I've seen what bad receptions look like. I'm going to go now. And they don't ever dance. They never engage in the entertainment. They don't make a memory. And so that structure really helps divert away from that. Again, it communicates to your guests there is a plan, and that it is worth sticking around for. It's going to be an experience. I tell at the beginning of my events, I talk with all the guests. I say, check it out. This happens once. I know we all have we all have responsibilities outside of these four walls. We've got mortgages and car payments and dogs and babies and all the things. But in this moment, we get one time to celebrate their love together, their commitment to one another. And it's only 4, maybe 5 hours. And I ask guests, can I ask you to commit to this moment being completely present with the bride and groom to make sure their day is awesome? And I see, it's incredible. I see people, it clicks. It like makes it, oh, okay, yeah. I don't want to just eat dinner and leave. I want to have a blast. And it really takes that energy through the roof at an event. Listen, if you're a bride or groom listening, you deserve that. I completely believe that. You deserve your event to be incredible. I'm going to make sure of it. Your A team is going to make sure of it. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the most important part is once you get to the reception, it's the time that you'll remember. You won't remember a lot of the ceremony. You just won't. You won't remember saying your vows, or a lot of the photos you won't remember. But the thing that sticks with you, as well as yes, your photographer is going to capture those memories, and you're going to have all those, and your videographer. That's why I highly recommend a videographer, because you won't remember what happened during the ceremony. But the things that you will remember are the end right here during the reception. And so, this, and there are, just like Broc said, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that you've got to get through in order to, just dance or just relax, or, but honestly, the whole night, people are coming up to the couple. They're coming up to you. I mean, they want to say hi to you. They want to say bye to you. They want to, so that structure is really important when it comes to, and, every wedding is different. Every wedding is different. Some people have really long speeches. Some speeches are really, really short. So you get to dive into the dancing and everything else. And just like Broc said, this is the part that have some flexibility with, and believe in your wedding DJ that you're hiring, because they've been there. They've did that. They understand, and they just want you to have the best experience possible. And again, I, have been to weddings that not a single person on the dance floor. And I can tell you, when you have a DJ that is going out there and teaching line dances, you've got grandmas that'll jump out there because they don't feel stupid, because they don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to stand out. No, they feel like somebody's guiding them. So even the dances are, and it's another thing that I'm really passionate about. If you can't tell, I'm very passionate about receptions anyway, because I think it's the fun part. Yeah, your guests want to have fun. They do. They want to have fun. And that's where your DJ comes in.
Yeah.
Did I sell that enough?
I hope so. I hope so.
I'm very, very sure. Okay. All right. So let's check. Let me check in the group to make sure if we have, was there anything else as far as timeline, Brock?
I don't think so. I think I would say just like, if you're listening, like every timeline's a little bit different. It kind of depends a little bit on the size of the event, how many guests you have. Some of the format pieces, like did you do plated dinner, 2, 3, 4, 7 course? Like that's going to make an impact in your timeline. And then like the formalities and the activities that you want to do will also impact that timeline. So there's no perfect recipe, but there is sort of a fundamental layout that works really well. And more or less from that point, what I would encourage you is, like get with your wedding planner. If you don't have a wedding planner, get with your DJ and let's talk about what that reception can look like and how to make sure that it's powerful based on your particular situation, your particular circumstances.
Right. Absolutely. And, it all goes back to every wedding is different. Every, there's not, you cannot blanket at really a timeline. You can't. I mean, every wedding is different, yeah. So yeah, I love that. And so we had a couple comments, and I know that these two came in earlier when we were talking about stay strong and plan on. Sarah said, yes, stay strong, and we're all going to prevail. And Christine Bonavere said amen, because I know we were talking about wedding professionals, and she loves wedding professionals. And then I'm not sure who Zach sent this to, but he just said preach in this last part about the reception. So I'm sure that could be you or me, not sure. So okay, so anything else that you want to touch on?
I don't think so. If there's any way that I can be of service, it's literally one of my favorite things to help clients make sure their day is awesome. I'm so passionate about it. So if there's anyone I can be of service to, give me a call. Let's chat about it. Let's figure it out. And even if we're not the perfect fit for you, we'll make sure that you get to the people who are. And I'm happy to make some connections for you. I want this process to be fun and easy and enjoyable for you guys. And so I'm here for you.
Yeah, I love that. And for those of you who are just jumping on, make sure that you we'll take this video and cut it so it's not so long, so it'll go by topic. But listen to the other. If you're just joining us, make sure you listen to the other topics, because the first topic that we jumped on or talked about was stay strong and plan on, and that's for all wedding professionals and that are just joining together to really bring unity and know that we're here for you. And Brock brought that to the table. A week ago.
Yeah.
A week ago. Yeah. So, and the support and the love, and it's one of the things we said, the heart of wedding professionals in the 417 area is by far amazing. It just is. And then, the second topic we talked about was 5 tips for an amazing reception, which Brock, really, it's 5 tips for all of your wedding, which was incredibly helpful, because that all has to do with having that amazing reception. And so, make sure you tune in for that. And then, of course, this last topic, which was creating a perfect timeline, know that you know, wedding professionals are here for you, and that's why we're doing this live at 5, because man, we just want to help. We want to encourage. We want to, you know, help in any way that we can. And the Stay Strong Plan On, they put it in. I'm pretty sure Shelby put it into the comments as far as the video that you can go watch. So that Broc put together for all of us. So this was perfect timing. And thank you. Thanks for being here. Hang on. Oh, and then also, if you're watching, you can turn on the notifications so you get alerted when we go live. So if you're a couple and want to keep up with this, we do this every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Make sure that you click that button to get alerts so you know when we're going live. So, and of course, this is a different format. You know, in the past, we've just gotten together and spent time in the studio, but we are doing it this way because we're staying safe. And but man, we cannot wait to get back out there. So Broc, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving couples like you do. I'm just grateful. Grateful for everything you did, and just grateful for the way you love them. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I love getting to be a part of this. It's been awesome. You're a rock star.
So are you. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And like I said, we'll get this cut and get it online in the next couple days. So thanks again, Broc.
Bye, guys.
Bye.